recorded live.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be across the nation or around the world. Once again, you're listening to the VMware Communities Roundtable podcast. This is podcast number 733. My name is Eric Nilsson, and with me today, I have my favorite co-host, Corey Romero. Today is Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. Corey, how you doing today?
Eric, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Middle of summer. Can't go wrong. Beautiful weather in Silicon Valley and Broadcom corporate headquarters. Enjoying Palo Alto as always. How's the weather out in Utah?
Things are great. Nice and warm, but not too hot. I actually had some rain yesterday. It poured rain at the house, and it was nice.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, on the show today, we're going to talk about hands-on lab at Explore 2025. There's been, obviously, we've announced VCF 9, so there's going to be a lot of different labs out there. You know, we know the certifications are going to be free if you buy a full pass. And so, you know, again, the hands-on labs are going to be important. You can learn. There's all the VCF 9 stuff. We'll talk about that. Then if you get really good, you can go take your VCF certification, pass, get advantage, get your $20,000 worth of VCF licenses. You can see where we're going with all this. It's going to be exciting times at Explore. If you haven't registered yet, you should go register because scheduling tool went live and it's out there. So all the sessions are out there. So, you know, you can go get that. We have the hackathon for Monday night. We've got that in the scheduling tool. So if you want to come hang out with myself, William Lamb, Alan Renouf, and all the other automators, Monday night's the place to be. We're going to be giving away Raspberry Pi 5s for winners. We got over 30 Raspberry Pis 5s with cases and power supply and heat sink. So a nice little kit. And those guys are multi-core beasts, right? Which is, you know, why they need heat sinks on them now, because they are super fast machines. Dual a HDMI, I think 4K dual. So really nice little prizes for the hackathon. Everybody's got to be there. We've got a blog out. You can go look for the hackathon blog and see how to sign up, and we'll put you on a team, and it's going to be a fun Monday night. So that's going on. The code labs, I think, are going to end up in content catalog shortly. I think this week we're trying to get those in. We're running those 3 times a day, so a lot of excitement there. We're showcasing the VCF 9 on Nooks. So we've got multiple VCF 9 Nooks that are going to be at the tables, and you can come check them out. We'll take you through how we installed them. The lab will then run Raspberry Pis with PowerShell, and we'll do some VCF 9 PowerShell. So that's going to be exciting. So if you're looking to come to Explore, and if you're not, you should look at it. Pricing schedule has changed this year as well, so that if you want to come hang out with community, the community theater is going to be in the community area. VMUG has a booth. That's going to be great. And we have a community booth where we're going to have activities. Again, the coffee bar. So if you do some stuff, you can get yourself a latte at the coffee bar. This is all going to be together. The store. We got some games. There's a putt-putt environment that you can win some coffee coupons by playing putt-putt and doing well. And so it'll be a lot of fun, as well as great community sessions and Code Labs Hackathon. The VMUG party is going to be big. I think that's Tuesday night. All VMUG members are going to be invited this year, so we're expecting 700 people be at that party in Vegas. So a lot of real good stuff this year. I think we're back to pre-2019 activities being funded this year. So cool. And Corey, I'll hand it off to you. I know the experts are going to do a meetup at Explore as well in the community booth, and you're going to be giving away stuff. Why don't you take us through that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to have a meetup on Monday for vExperts, and at the meetup is where you'll receive your vExpert gift. So stay tuned for more details about that later today. But we're going to be giving away a bomber jacket this year. It's going to be a branded vExpert bomber jacket, and it's really, really cool. So putting together details on that. I should have an email going out today or late tomorrow. So Thursday at the latest on details on this. You do have to sign up on the form that I've been putting out in the email to receive your gift. Also, vExpert applications are open until July 24th at 5 p.m. and award announcements will go out on August 15th. So if you're not a vExpert, you're doing evangelist things in the community, you're writing blogs, or you're creating videos, or doing things that are outside your day job for the community, go to vexpert.vmware.com and make sure you apply. If you have any questions for me around that application, you can reach out to myself. I'm Corey, COREY.ROMERO at Broadcom.com. Also, yesterday's webinar recording call with Valley Cyber and vExperts is now posted under events and opportunities on the vExpert website. So it's also put out in mail yesterday. So if you missed that, really good webinar on hypervisor security. So go back and make sure you listen to that, and give a shout out to Valley Cyber. And with that, that's all I've got, Eric.
All right, perfect. I know it's exciting year this year. We haven't had a bomber jacket since the code jackets back in 2016, 2017, where we had the nice bomber, pull of your bomber jackets that are fun to get. Right. So this year we got them, we're doing them, and with a vExpert logo on it. And I think NetApp's going to try to sponsor some of that. So we'll do a shout out to NetApp, one of our long-term vExpert sponsors. So we're excited about giving away good things, and then a party at the same time for everybody. So this year you kind of get a party and a gift, right? Which we haven't done a party and a gift since 2016.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
It's going to be a good event, and an Explore, and with the community lower price of under $900. You might be able to self-fund. I know a lot of VMUG members have self-funded in the past, so should be a lot of neat stuff. And you can buy certification if you buy the cheaper pass and you want to go sit for your cert, you can do that as well. With that, let's talk about HOL. So we have our guests patiently waiting here. Kelly Smith. We've got her. She is a program manager for HOL, at least at the show. That's her position and her title. So excited to have her on the show, as well as David D. Entrant. I'm massacring that,
is great, if you want to say that.
Entrant. There you go. We'll get that. David is HOL engineer, so we'll talk about the HOL. So let's go to Kelly first. Kelly, we're on the community podcast. We always like to hear your arc. You're at VMware, obviously. What's been your career arc? How did you get to what you're doing today? You got 2 to 3 minutes to tell us how you got here.
I started in hardware and thought, why don't I just jump to software and change up my whole career 5 years ago? So, that's what landed me here. I wanted to try something.
What did you do? All right. So what did you do in hardware?
My progression started with crystals and oscillators, moved on to PCBs, and then into receivers and transmitters, and so the whole gamut from very small to very large. And then
now were you doing hardware engineering, like a double E kind of build this stuff, or were you just kind of working on the sidelines of engineering?
I have
done your role?
customer service, sales, program management, operations, purchasing.
Oh, all right. Yeah, purchasing the backhoe and the hand on hardware, right? So Hawktan, Broadcom, always says hardware is hard, right? It's a hard business, right? Where you're trying to build things, physical things, and sell them. He's like, software is amazing. It's just cloud. You just tickety tick, and there it is, and then you can take orders. It's
the shift
cool stuff.
For me, that was the biggest shift. Was you have time to do things with software.
Which do you like better?
Software.
Yeah.
It's
Why?
faster to fix. It's
faster
much
fix,
faster
easier.
to fix. Yeah.
Faster timelines. Yeah. Neat. Well, all right. So, and now you're running HOL at Explore, but that's not your permanent job, right? You're not, that's not what you do for your day job. Are you in the HOL world now? And when Explore's not happening, you're still doing HOL kind of stuff?
Yes. I lead the program overall, but then a large part of my time is spent planning the events that we, Explore and other events. We have
other events. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. Neat. All right. Well, Kelly, great to have on the show. David, take us through the same thing.
Well, I did not start in the IT realm. I started off doing custom home design. And when the market got a little slow there, a friend of mine said, "Hey, we've got a guy that's working in our IT group that keeps rebooting the mail server in the middle of the day. We're looking for somebody to come in here. We're willing to train." And I said, "Okay, I'm willing to give it a try." So I started by managing an email server for an organization, then got exposed to Active Directory. And this is about the year 2003, 2004. So I was in on the early part of virtualization.
Was the email server under your desk? Was it those days where it sat right in the room with you?
It was in a real server closet, an iMail server. If any of the old timers remember iMail there. But that from there I grew into the company was growing really large at the time as well, and virtualization was a new thing, and I was part of testing out and validating some virtualization things for them for a while. But after moving on to a couple other companies around the year 2010, I had the opportunity to join VMware as a partner SE. So I worked with system integrators, system outsourcers, and their integrations with VMware software, then went into a cloud specialist role. And then about the year 2018, I came on board full-time with the Hands-on Labs program. It's a fantastic program. I love it. I love meeting everybody and just love what I do.
Yeah, I mean, it is a great program. It's been around for as long as I've been at the company. I think when I came in, I came from Sun Microsystems, and Pablo Roche was over at Sun Microsystems, and he asked me, "Hey, are there any jobs over at VMware? VMware's hot." And so I said, "I don't know." And then about a month or two later, I get a reference check from his boss, or so, saying, "Hey, we want to hire him in and have him run this new HOL environment, right?" And so he came over, and I got to watch it grow, and Pablo and I were friends for a long time until he moved on. And but the program is still here, and it's great, and love every moment of it. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with HOL. So first off, VCF 9 obviously has come out, right, and that's the elephant in the room, right? So maybe we should just talk a high level. What do you got going on for VCF 9? I hear there are labs out. Are there going to be new labs coming up for Explore? What's going on in the VCF 9 world? And I don't know which of the two of you want to take that question.
I'll take this first one. We actually hit a major milestone this year by releasing the Hands-on Labs on the exact same day as our GA release. We've never done that before. So that was a huge undertaking by the team. When VCF 9 went live on the 17th, users could immediately jump into our labs and start getting their hands on the features firsthand. That's the kind of real-time access we're committed to providing moving forward, not waiting weeks or months to get your hands on the latest technology. And those labs are available in our catalog right now.
Yeah, I remember that's just been the way it's always been, is that we release and HOLs come 4 months later, right? To the T, right? 4 or 5 months later, right? It was there. Now, I'm not sure if I can give clap for you guys getting it done, or whether I just look at the engineering team going, yeah, they're just always so late now that, it took them a long time to do VCF 9, and you guys are 4 months delayed, but they just delayed the VCF 9 launch for 4 months. So it lined up at the same time. Come on, keep it real, right? I'm not sure, but nonetheless, it's been great. It's been great that it's out there. David, I'll throw one at you. Like, there is so much change in VCF 9, right? We've got AI, the AI GPU management, right? We got tiered memory. We've got licensing, all has changed. Where VCF operations now does licensing different. You got to download stuff from me, run all kind of weird stuff like that. We've got Skyline now showing back up as VCF Health, right? So do you guys have to do all new labs for all of these new features, and did you manage to accomplish that, and what was the challenges there?
Yeah, so the short answer to that is yes. All of that content will be available in its full form at Explore. So we had that little preview that Kelly talked about, the kind of the what's new, very high level overview of a few select features, but the full installation was there under the hood. So feel free to go off script and journey and poke around wherever you want to. Everything.
Oh, right. So you have the full VCF 9 there in the lab environment. So even though the lab itself didn't take you through that, you could play with it.
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things about Hands-on Labs is you can always go off script. You don't have to follow everything that's done in the Hands-on Lab, and it's a great place to experiment, to learn at your own pace in your own way. But yeah, it was a challenge for us to think about how do we package this content in a way that makes sense for users. And then there's a whole technical challenge on the other side. How do you actually build this stuff inside what we call a pod that can be delivered? Because remember, we're doing this at scale. Whenever we go to the Hands-On Labs public interface, we click a lab and say, I want to take it, and we expect it to come up in 15 to 30 seconds because that's what we're used to. There's a lot of engineering and a lot of planning that goes behind making those labs available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and making them start up every time in a condition that's ready to go without using all the capacity in the world either, because we do have constraints in how much storage space, CPU, and memory we can use to run these labs. So there's a large planning exercise that starts at the beginning, and obviously starting before the software was released. That meant that we had to take some educated guesses, working directly with engineering on pre-release builds, getting them out there, see what it looked like, seeing how it performed in our environment, and then planning for that target date and making sure that the capacity that we're planning, the lab sizes that we're building are all going to fit inside each other, inside together, and give that good user experience that everyone is used to.
So did Dell stock go up when you started to have to do this? Because I look at how many cores you need to run the standard VCF, ESX, NSX, vSAN. Then I look at operations and then automation on that, and it's like I need like 300 gig of memory for automation. I need 256 gig for the VCF, vSAN, and the number of cores. Like I need like 50 cores. Like we have 128 core license we're giving away for Vantage now because it's a big thing. So did you guys have to deal with this when you were doing server capacity layout?
So you would actually be surprised to know how our capacity that we use, we did get a little more capacity than we had before, but it was not the order of magnitude that we wanted or we thought we needed really to make these labs work. So this was a year where we took some time to re-examine how we were building these labs and to look for other places for other efficiencies to make it work.
Right.
And so some of that was process related, how we were building the labs. We used to have a large development environment that was a separate environment. And then we had the environment that would run the labs, which would be over there. Well, we decided to go to a model where all that is pooled. So now we became much more elastic between the ebbs and flows of those environments. Even without adding any additional capacity, we're actually doing more just by using it more wisely. And then as we built the pods themselves, inside the pods that we're doing nested virtualization, inside virtualization, the whole inception all the way down there, we found some other knobs and tweaks that we were able to make to get the performance there while still making sure the functionality is there.
So Kelly, you're now, part of Broadcom. Have you had to just change your ways now where you had to go down and say, sorry, you don't get it anymore. You do more with less, right? Like here's what you get. Go figure out how to optimize it. And, there must be another 50% you can squeeze out of the world somewhere because you're not getting anything else. Go make it work.
And that's exactly what David's referring to. We did get hit with that early on, and we do use a lot of capacity. So we had to get more agile. We had to get more efficient, and we did.
But that's a good lesson for everybody that is, going to VCF 9, right? There are economies of scale. They did put everything together under vCenter, under Ops now. It's a different platform, right? You can, I'm sure, find optimizations in the way you used to run things separately. Now things have come together, right? And although it's a lot more work, you guys made it work.
That's right, and it's an iterative process as well. And I'll say that having the flexibility that we have, where we had a brand new set of solutions coming in, brand new set of products there, we had to start really rethinking the way we did things because we had a new architecture coming for the software itself. That gave us some time early on to practice a couple iterations to see if we're going down the right road, and make those decisions early on with as much information as we had. And that worked out because we have a very experienced core team of individuals that have been here for several years that have all contributed their knowledge, in addition to the volunteers, the hundreds of volunteers that have supported the program through the years. Yeah,
I guess I should ask the obvious question, which I haven't been clear on. Are you running the 9 labs on 9?
So the 9 labs are running.
Maybe I shouldn't ask that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Valid question. So inside our backend environment, we upgrade in stages. So parts of them and some labs will be running on some parts of that infrastructure or have some of the management on 9 there. That's just because when we did the Broadcom merger, we're bringing in a lot of environments together right now. There's still things settling, but yes, some of this is running.
This is not a greenfield environment. This is like many other services. There's a lot of components to it that are coming from different places, right?
Yes.
So,
but
at
the whole picture comes together to deliver everything, which is exactly what VCF 9 is about. It's about saying, well, I don't care what hardware is on the back end or what you're trying to merge together. What I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you a private cloud that just runs no matter what it's on.
Right. So Kelly, you were going to say something. I'll also ask you another question. Like, we have backed out of cloud, right? Like for a while, everything was Pat Gelsinger days. Everything was cloud. Broadcom days. Everything is your data center. It's your data center. How much of your workloads are still running in cloud services versus how much is now, on-prem on our own servers somewhere?
We will actually, that's a great question. We have to scale up for Explore because the concurrency we see at Explore is not the same as we typically see 24/7 on our online platform. And so there are actually 2 cloud providers who are sponsoring capacity for the Hands-On Labs room this year, OVH and IBM. So we will be scaling out to them and probably out to Google as well. The rest of the year we run on our EPC.
You're on-prem, right? So yeah, that makes sense, right? Like, and that's exactly how you should run cloud, right? You should have your data center running, but when you see these Christmas season or whatever your season is that spikes capacity up 3x what it normally would, we integrate to cloud, right? That makes sense. Yeah, I like that. So when it comes to VCF 9 and the sheer number of new labs that are out there, how many new labs will people expect to see when they show up to Explore this year, and will they be able to fit it all in?
David, what's our count?
So I'm going to leave some mystery there, and I'm not going to give the count, but I'm going to say that it's more than you can take. If you were to show up in Hands-On Labs at the beginning of the day and stay there all day through lunch to the end when the labs close, you will not be able to get through all the content that we're delivering at the show. It's hours and hours and hours of curated content that's very specific to products and solutions and use cases there. But we're going to have 50, 60 plus labs available and new labs available.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
To users there at the show.
Right. And I think every year everybody has to balance how many sessions they want to go to, how long do they allocate for doing labs. And I guess I should ask, like, how many of these are workshops versus how many are self-paced this year? Like, is the mix changing at all, or about the same? How does that work out? And usually this schedule tool has been out now for a day or so. Probably all the workshops are already filled up. Like, are you guys watching that ratio as well? Tell me a little bit about instructor versus self-paced.
All right. So for folks who like a guiding experience, we've got the expert-led workshops, and those are delivered by the subject matter experts who actually create the labs. We've got 13 of them out there right now. We are watching registration so that we will eventually have 55 workshops available to schedule.
Oh, wow.
But we really want to
right.
make sure we're bringing the content people want to see. So we're waiting to release. We'll release more as we get closer to the event. So there'll be an opportunity for even those folks who join late to get into a workshop, because they do fill up really fast. And for those who prefer to explore at their own pace, maybe grab a lab or two between sessions, we have the self-paced labs area. Just like the workshops, we have those same subject matter experts right there in the room to answer questions about those labs, dive deep into the products, answer a question about, some problem that you're having. They're the exact same experts that are in the workshops. So I know there are a lot of folks like to go to the workshops to be instructed. Self-paced labs, you have the exact same content and the exact same support.
Yeah, if I can jump in there for a second, because that's really kind of a value that a lot of people don't think about, the being there in person at the show, because it's easy to think, well, I won't go to Explore because they're going to release the labs on the public site after the event, so I can get to all the labs there. I don't need to go to the show. Well, you're missing the opportunity to talk to the people right there that wrote the labs. You're missing the opportunity to have that side conversation where you can go over to one of the tables and whiteboard up a situation, or take a little deep dive on something, or maybe get a little education there, or maybe make a request to say, hey, this module was great, but where's this? This is what I want to see, and talk to the individuals that are writing the labs there. There's a huge value to that in-person communication, and that only happens at events like Explore.
Yeah, I know that the GUI's changed a lot, right? Like when you look at VCF 9 and you try to find things. I was watching William Lamb's post yesterday, and he's like, "Oh, look, I found this here, I found that there," because we got 9 running on Nooks now finally, and we're like, okay, we got 32 core little AMD small machines that we've been running on, and he's like posting pictures of, I found this here, I found that there. I have a feeling that that's just going to be something important for everybody to come up to speed with, is just navigating where the new features are in the user interfaces, right? As you move forward.
Right. And that's really kind of what the What's New labs that were released at GEA were designed to do, was to level set everybody on the basics of the big points of navigation across the products with those features there. So that's a great thing that everybody can do right now before the event, is make sure that you go through those What's New labs there. That level sets you on some. We're not taking through the entire interface, but on where the major components are. And especially, like you mentioned, with operations, the old Skyline utilities being incorporated into the larger VCF platform more directly, it helps you with that initial, whoa, where is everything? Somebody came in and moved everything in my house. All right, this will level set me now. I know where my bedroom is, where my kitchen is, and I can get back to working the way I'm used to working.
Yeah. All right. So good on that. I think next thing is times. Like I've heard that HOL and the expo area where the vendors are and the community area all in the same place. That's open Monday through Wednesday. Are you guys open on Sunday this year? A little early? What's the deal there?
We are not open on Sunday. We're
Not
open Monday through Wednesday.
Monday. Yeah, so you better get your HOL sneakers on, right? Because it's going to be 3 days, not 4. Right? Like yep. And I guess that's okay. That was what we're experiencing from a community perspective, is that we used to be open Monday through Thursday, but the expo area, they're pulling it all together. It's going to be a lot of excitement, and busy, right? It's going to be busy, but that means it's all together, right? And so Monday through Wednesday is what you get. What time are you guys open?
9 to 5 Monday, 10:30 to 5 Tuesday, and 9 to 6 Wednesday, I believe.
All right, yeah. 9 to 6 Wednesday.
And then
that's nice.
Are open on Thursday, so just come brush up on your.
I was going to ask that. Like, are you guys flagging anything? Like, do you have a certification track for the VCP-VCF? Could I come in and you should put here are all the labs you should take. Maybe I'll help you with that, David. Like, it would be fun to have that. Right?
We've tagged that before. We've put tags in the catalog for those certifications there. So that's a great point, Eric. I'll take that back to the team and see if we can make sure we get some type of tags there to make those easy to find.
And then we should have, if you failed, get well tracked, right? when we were at VMware Connect or VMUG Connect in St. Louis this year, a lot of people thought they were ready, went and took the tests, found it was a little bit harder than what they thought, and they had failed, and then they were spending Tuesday and Wednesday studying to try to catch up, right? I don't expect a failure list, so let's not go there. But yeah.
Well, we've got a great thing that happens in the room that we haven't talked about yet. Yeah. That's related to exactly what you mentioned about seeing where your skills are. And that's the Odyssey challenge that happens in hands-on labs. So with the normal hands-on labs, you've got the pod there, you've got your instructions that come up and tell you what to do. Click here, click here, click here to do the thing. When you come to the Odyssey area, we give you the same exact vPod that you used to learn in, but we don't tell you how to do it. We say, here's the task, go figure it out, and how fast can you do it? And so you're rated and ranked and given points based on completing the task correctly and how quick that you do it. And these games are 15 to 20 minutes long. on average for users to take. So if you're thinking about taking your certification tests, come to the Odyssey area over there, play the games, test your skills, see where you rank, maybe find some places where you need to do additional studying. But at Explore on Monday and Tuesday will be qualifying round games.
Nice.
Which is on Wednesday, there is a competition that happens in the HOL area.
Right.
So,
we used to market the heck out of it on the social channels. And so I'm going to have to go back and get Noel Greer on our team to, put out some posts, because I didn't even know the Odyssey was still happening. I knew it happened last year. I remember hearing about it, but did not know. So the last day, Wednesday, will be the final. So you qualify, you get into the finals. Are you going to have like a leaderboard or stuff like that in the lab area like you used to do? I can't remember.
Yes, your leaderboard will be on the big screen and the command center wall. And so what I'll say is it's a great opportunity to get in there Monday and Tuesday, take the games as quick as you can so you can make sure your name gets on the board early so you can go get your picture taken with your name on the,
with your board.
with
your
board
name
over there. But yeah, it's there and it's live as people work. And then the final round game is fantastic. When you have this year, we'll have 8 people sitting beside each other, and the leaderboard is right behind them, and you're watching the tasks tick off as each one's going, the crowd cheering. It can get pretty exciting.
That's fun. That we'll have to promote, because that's one of the things that used to be a lot of fun, and I think it probably still is, and I just haven't been in the loop.
Fun.
Right.
It is.
Right. Yeah. What do the winners get this year? Are we allowed to talk about? Are we allowed to even? Broadcom is very, very, very compliance oriented, right? Prizes are kind of tricky, right? You got to be compliant. Yeah. You can't work for the government. Are you guys even trying to give away gifts, or are you just going to have the leaderboard and say congrats?
No. Broadcom understands something like Odyssey and winning Odyssey. Right. That's special. That's special. If you come to Explore, you take the qualifying rounds and you get into the final 8. That's special. But especially being first, second, and third, yes, we're going to have some prizes. We've got a
nice. You don't have to announce it here. You don't.
There'll be a future blog post where we're talking.
Right. That's right. I don't want to get you in trouble. I know how that goes. Right. And but that's cool. A funny aside there, because we're doing the hackathon and we're giving away gifts, and we had to go through compliance and legal, for terms and conditions. And there's a term condition that if you're from Canada, you actually have to answer a math question in order to qualify for the prize. Right. And so Canada requires a skill-based, and they make you sign the terms and conditions saying, if you win, we're going to ask you 7 + 2 × 4, right? And you got to be able to answer it in order to qualify for the prize. Now, it's weird because clearly the hackathon is a task challenge based thing. So I don't think we're going to actually have to do that. But it is a funny aside that different countries have different terms and conditions. Broadcom has compliance. We had to get all the terms and conditions, send them out, get everybody to acknowledge that it's there. And so, yeah, cool. All right. So Odyssey's happening. That's neat. More HOLs that you can take while you're there. But then again, what's the URL for HOLs these days? Is it vmware.com/HOL? Because you can do these things after the show, right?
Yep. You can go to hol.vmware.com. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, easy. And well, it's not easy. It's just, it is, right?
Yeah. And I also want to put up, not only will the labs be out there, but the Odyssey games will be out there too. So all the games that will happen during the show will be available for you to play afterwards as well.
Yeah. And getting back to real non-humor stuff, like the certification now, VCP-VCF, is really important, because we do give you hands-on home lab licenses if you do remain VCP certified and buy your VMUG Advantage membership. And I know that I'm not supposed to say too much, but I know that for VCF 9, if you go take the VCF 9 cert, the VCF team is going to pay for your Advantage for a year, right? Or that's what I hear. I don't think we've announced that yet, but I believe that's coming. And so we are really doubling down on certification in the enterprise. Learn how to run all this together. 9 has got ESX, NSX, VCF, all networking, all storage, all together. And you need to get certified for it. But then as an IT administrator, your salary should go up. So I think everybody's taking this very seriously. And HOLs is part of that, right? To get where you need to go.
Yeah, I'll say there's an interesting synergy with that. One might think, well, if I have a home lab, then HOL is of no use to me. Well, we're actually doing something this year that is new for us, and it's related to the holodeck program, which is very, very popular with home.
Yeah, popular to install. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've actually used holodeck as the base for our templates. So what that means is if you deploy holodeck for your personal lab or home lab or work lab, whatever that is, and that environment, that structure, DNS, IP range, things and stuff, you're familiar with the defaults there, you're going to be very familiar with the Hands-on Labs pod environment. It's going to look exactly the same. So that makes HOL a great place, even if you have a home lab, if you want to try something that's potentially destructive or something that could, I don't want to do that in my home lab or reset. The environment is going to look very similar to your home lab. If it's based off holodeck, that structure will look very similar. So it makes the HOL still an extension of your learning, even if you have a full home lab.
And the same look and feel extends to the certifications as well, right, David?
Right. All these pods, certification, HOL, we're trying to standardize to make sure all of the DNS names for things, all the IP address ranges are standardized and it looks the same. So you're taking an HOL, you're taking a certification exam, you're doing a experience day workshop or something like that. The environment looks the same.
Yeah, and I think credit to Hawktan and others who are working on all this, all of us. Hawktan has basically said, I want this to happen. VCF leadership has said, I want this to happen. And if you watch, my code labs are lining up on holodeck installation. William Lamb's doing stuff. VMware Advantage is the Advantage. They're aligning with all of this. You guys are aligning with this. And then the event Explorer team itself is like giving away free testing, right? So everybody's aligning. And so I haven't seen alignment like this in a long time. So Kelly, do you feel as the manager of this, do you feel that happening?
Absolutely. And it's not just our team, it's across organizations and across other teams. And I think the user is the one who's going to win here because everything's going to look nice and uniform. And it also makes us more efficient. We can use the holodeck outputs. Right. Everyone's using the same environments. So it makes it faster for us to get those labs out.
Okay. So we got a late start. So we're technically 37 minutes in, but we're really at 45, 46. So as we cross the 45-minute mark, I usually ask both of you, what excites you for the next year coming up? Obviously the 9 is a big thing. Do you guys see things in the future that you can't talk about that get you excited? So I guess I'll go with Kelly first, and then we'll loop back to David. What excites you going forward in the HOL environment or anything else in the world? I don't really care, but I just always want to hear what passion do you have that now you feel like, okay, I'm excited about this. For me, it's the VCF Nooks running finally VCF 9 on a small machine where you got everything together. I'm pretty excited about that.
I think for me, short term this year is the Explore on Tour. All of the Explore on Tour events, I believe there's 6 of them, and all of them are going to be featuring hands-on labs. So smaller catalog, but the same expert-led workshops and self-paced labs that are at Explore in Las Vegas are going to be in Mumbai and Tokyo and London and Sydney and Frankfurt. So we're gonna be able to deliver that experience to all of those events as well. And I think also just our ability to be quick, put those labs out, those 9.0 labs out quickly. I think there's going to be a pretty big payload for 9.1 from what we're hearing. And so it's going to be great to be able to deliver as quickly as we did 9.0 this year.
Yeah, if we can make that something that's that I don't have to tell jokes about, that it wasn't because 9 was late, that you guys are actually in sync with engineering teams. That's exciting. That's good stuff.
We'll prove it. We'll prove it next.
Yeah, we'll prove it. That's right. There's been a lot of moving parts this year. So not only did we do 9, but there was a lot of consolidation, a lot of things changing. So platforms are now stable now, right? I feel like the company is doing well, and everybody has said that about Broadcom. After the 3rd year, things stabilize, and then you see beautiful things coming. So, Kelly, good job. That's exciting. David, how about you?
I think for me internally in the program, I see further opportunity for better efficiencies in getting content and environments out quicker and faster. So we've gone from an environment when I first started with hands-on labs where you had 12, 16, 20 different pods for all these labs that each had to be handcrafted by teams and people using very specific knowledge and skill sets. And we've gone to an environment this year where we've cut that down to where I think 12 right now, 12 to 15 is the range that we're working on right now for the show. That's a huge decrease, but that means that we're using that content from multiple labs. And I think we have an opportunity to get that down even further. In addition to now that we've got the holodeck platform that we're using for a predictable deployment of VCF9 data centers, now we can layer some automation on top of that to where now we can get new content out quicker, because once we get a new build that comes through the holodeck platform, we can layer all the HOL stuff on top of that faster. A lot of hand building has gone on in the past out of necessity, but now that we've got tools to automate that, it makes that much quicker to get that out. And then once we do that, those are skills and tools and processes that we can share with the community. With them when we talk about how we build these labs to give back to opportunities for other environments, other organizations to use those automation skills, processes in their environment for however they're building. And I think selfishly, one of the things I look forward to is working with the fantastic volunteers that are part of this program. People don't realize that the bulk of the builders of the pods and the writers of the manuals and screenshots are doing this on their own time, in addition to their day jobs. It's not their day job to do that, but they love the products. They love what it can do for our customers so much that they love what they do, that they want to do that and give that back to the community. And that's such a great set of people to work with and just enjoy that time. I look forward to continuing to work with them.
Great. I like that. And I guess I would say that I was visiting VMware.com the other day talking about ease when you consolidate and making it easier. And I go to VMware.com now, and they've consolidated the website to have just VCF Journey and some one other drop down, which gives you kind of like vertical markets, right? The website has simplified because VCF has made our products simplified, right? And I got to say that it probably makes your life simplified as well, because this integration means that you don't have all these separate products with separate labs. You just do one set around VCF, and that's simplified, right? And quality improves, right? I would gotta imagine that the website is way better, right? Simplified was better. We used to have personalization. Now you don't need personalization because you just come in and it's easy. VCF, there it is. Right.
That's right.
So I like that. Well, okay. So we usually do shout outs to like where they can go learn more, right? Do you guys have a HOL blog these days? Or if I obviously the website is hol.vmware.com. You mentioned that, right? If I would like to go learn about Odyssey or other things HOL, where do I go learn that stuff?
That's the place. hol.vmware.com.
That's the place.
You can get to.
Yeah, so you got a website there. Everything is in hol.vmware.com. You can go in and play and learn, and then does Odyssey run? Does it actually run post Explore? Is it running now? Like, how do I? I'm just curious on that one.
The tournament is only during Explore. However, the labs are available afterwards, and afterwards we reset the scoreboard for public. So you're seeing a continual scoreboard that's gone out there, and you'll see who's been doing it the fastest. Now, we understand some may go through and tell their friends what the questions are so they can try to go through and click as fast as they can. And, not much we can do about that.
Do you have addicts? Do you have to have like interventions with some of the people going like, okay, you've been in here too long. You're going to lose your job. We've noticed that your audience play is out of band here.
We had an individual who played in the Odyssey tournament in Las Vegas, won, and flew to Barcelona the same year just to play in the Odyssey tournament again.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
we
we
have
don't.
different.
That's not intervention level
actually-
yet. I think that's still okay. That's still okay.
We actually have one of the contenders from the very first year of Odyssey, who has since joined VMware and now is a hands-on labs volunteer. Come completely full circle.
Yep.
You have a problem when they start writing code with key generators in order to go in and they have all the questions, all the answers, and they got an AI bot that's running around, and you realize that the only way they could get that score would be like through automation. Right? Then okay, we're gonna have to have a talk with you. Right?
When it comes to tournament time, we try to maintain a level of fairness on the playing field for everyone, because prizes are on the line. It's important.
Right, and just it makes it for a fun game if you have referees or you have a way of keeping it honest, right? And we used to run, Cloud Cred way back in the day, and we try to keep it honest, but you'd always get cheaters, right? And we just say, you're only cheating us and the game and yourself, right? It's a game, guys. It's a game. It's for learning. It's for fun and learning. Learning is fun, and go from there. All right. Well, we're near the top of the hour, and we have to bring. There you go. We have to bring Tony Foster in to the stage because he's Mr. V Barbecue himself, and we will go through everybody and talk barbecue now because we live stream on YouTube.com/V Barbecue. We have all the playlists up to date. You can go give us a like and a follow. I think we're at 780 followers on V Barbecue. We're also on iTunes. We're also on Spotify. So if you want to follow us there, you're listening to the podcast already. You probably don't need to follow us. You're probably listening on iTunes. But we're on Spotify. And Tony Foster, good to see you. Let's talk a little V Barbecue. Because we stream on V Barbecue and we've done V Expert V Barbecues in the past, we talk barbecue. So Kelly, we'll start with you. Where do you live, and do you ever get to barbecue? And if you don't get to barbecue, do you ever eat barbecue? And what's your favorite place if you do? So what's your barbecue report?
I live in Southern California. I do barbecue, and we just had a brand new one installed that we are testing out this weekend. So probably going to be some ribs, because that would be my favorite.
Nice. Is it a smoker, charcoal, or gas?
It is gas. It is gas.
Right.
I'm not delving into the smoker world yet.
Yeah, not quite there.
My husband is from Texas, and he approves of the barbecue that I create. So I feel like that's high praise.
Hey, you can do good work with gas. I mean, Matt Lungeth, I got to give you credit. You can make a nice crispy glaze, a rub, some sugar on top. And if you do it right, ribs are fantastic. You boil them a little bit, get them soft, then put them on gas and char them up. It's awesome. David, what do you say?
So I do try to barbecue at home. However, because I live in McKinney, Texas, which is home of the original Hutchins barbecue, I will whip on down there to pick up some burnt ends from the brisket, or their Texas Twinkies, which is the jalapeno stuffed with brisket, sour cream, wrapped in a peppery bacon. And then that is smoked. And why would I cook at home when I can just go pick that up?
Yeah. If you're in Texas, what area in Texas? Sorry, I missed that. I was daydreaming.
In McKinney. It's about 30 minutes north of downtown Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you're good. Yeah, you got that. And bird ends are some of my favorites, right? Yeah. And then the peppers wrapped is also good. We have a barbecue place here in San Jose that does that. Yeah.
The Buc-ee's is right around the corner too, so I got that as a backup.
Yeah, go over that. Tony Foster, nice to see you. Glad you got the link. I'll give you the link every time you can come in and give us an update. So what have you been up to?
So been playing with VCF 9, obviously, getting that set up in my home lab and stuff. But from a barbecue standpoint, I'm going to go with the ribs theme that Kelly started with. I did ribs this weekend. I followed the 3-2-1 method. Just did an amazing set of ribs. I was pulling them out and the bones were just falling out of the ribs. It was awesome.
I've got good enough now with ribs that I feel like my rib selection is the only thing that changes. Where I buy the meat and what type of ribs do you buy? because ribs are not all created equal, and it just depends what you want. Do you want fatty? Do you want lean? Want to rub with dry? Tony Roma's ribs were always my favorite. I think they boiled them and then they were fatty and they grilled them on a gas grill, and they just what kind of flavor you want, right? So
absolutely, yes.
Fun times. We in California, I'm going to be doing some fish. I'm trying to eat healthier, thin up a little bit. So I'm going to try to smoke fish, not make it too dry, and get a nice wet, smoky fish. And I'm not sure what fish I'm going to go with. Probably sea bass or something interesting that's healthy. So we'll go. Corey Romero, you've been quiet. You're always out there doing crazy stuff. So what are you up to this summer?
Going out in my Can-Am in the mountains with my wife, the dogs, and my boys are all grown now, so they don't want to hang out with us. So it's me and my wife.
Welcome to my life. Yeah.
Yeah, and working in the office now, I go home and my wife is barbecuing, right? So she is now taking over the smoker role. So she smokes, all kinds of stuff, you name it. I come home and she'll have, a pile of chicken and some steaks and, ribs or whatever else, right? So she is taking over the smoker role unless we do something on a Saturday or Sunday.
It is true that we do have to talk chicken every once in a while. Like, chicken gets a bad rep, but if you smoke a chicken chicken can be really, really good. Honestly, even with sauce on it.
Yes.
Yeah, we overlooked that. Maybe I'll do a chicken this weekend. Right? Yeah, that's worth doing. Guys, it's lunchtime here in the Bay Area. It is now 12 to 1. Thank you for spending your lunchtime with us on the Community Podcast. Thanks for doing all the HOL work that you do. Thanks for being on the VCF 9 trend. We've been doing VCF 9 every week so far since the launch, and you guys are part of it. So thanks for taking your time organizing this and being here. Excited to see you at Explore.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
See you in Vegas.
Yep. And everybody go get some barbecue. We'll be back again next week. Until then, have a great week.